Now, Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi recently went head to head over the State of the Union. They went like they were basically trading some barbs and whatever, trying to negotiate on when Trump will be able to give his State of the Union. Now, this ended with Donald Trump basically admitting defeat, which is great. Now, this all started, of course, when Pelosi asked Trump to delay the speech because right now we shut down the government. Now, she, of course, claimed that, oh no, it's security concerns. We all know that that's not true. It's not about security concerns. No, this is political. But in this case, Nancy Pelosi outplayed Donald Trump in politics, which I guess to be fair is pretty easy to do because Donald Trump's an idiot. Nonetheless, it's great to see her do that. Now, of course, this also shows the leverage that the Democrats have over the president, and they are now teaching him, like, hey, you know what? Now we have divided government. Now it's our turn. Now, as Speaker, of course, Pelosi controls the proceedings in the House, meaning that she can withdraw an invitation for the president to address lawmakers. Now, she cited, as I said, security risks from the shutdown. Again, I don't like that excuse, but it is what it is. But basically, it's, hey, Trump, you're not giving your speech. Sad day for you. To which Trump, of course, threw a fit, as he is prone to doing so, saying that, oh yeah, if you're not going to invite me into the house, I'm just going to come to the house on my own, or I'm going to give the greatest speech somewhere else. That's basically what happened. But all that ended, of course, when he tweeted out that he would accept doing that speech once the shutdown was over, which, of course, could be quite some time. Now, one more thing, too. As strike back for Pelosi basically withdrawing her invitation, Trump actually canceled a scheduled trip to Afghanistan in which Nancy Pelosi was supposed to go on minutes before she was set to leave. Now, they did that by, of course, leaking that to the press, which would be a massive security risk. So, way to put Nancy Pelosi in a lot of actual danger. There is a reason you don't actually disclose those flights before they, you don't disclose that before they actually get there. Okay. Now, anyway, so at a press briefing, the president, of course, decided to blame the opposition, saying, quote, "I'm not surprised. It's really a shame what's happening with the Democrats. They've become radicalized." No. No, it's radical? Shutting down the government for a wall. Now, first, shutting down the government, deeply unpopular, right? For a border wall, that's also deeply unpopular. As a president who is, as well, you're going to guess, deeply unpopular. Even your regular average Trump voter, right, says, open up the government and stop using the shutdown as a tool to get the wall. If you're going to get the wall, find another way, but don't shut down the government. That said, Trump losing to Pelosi kind of set social media on fire a little bit. I've got a couple of tweets here. One from New York Times' Maggie Haberman. Now, she said, "Can't think of another time since the campaign when he has had to publicly be outplayed by a woman." That's a fair point. Jeff Greenfield tweeted in, "How will this play with the militant Trumpists who are urging him to stand up to Pelosi? How does he react when he reads, sees, and hears all the commentary saying, Trump blinks when he sees life as a zero-sum, I win, you lose contest?" That's actually a great question. Right now, we know that only 7% of registered voters support shutting down the government over the border wall. We know most Trump supporters who want the wall think this is a really dumb way to get it, especially since this is all over $5.7 billion, which, by the way, we have spent shutting down the government anyway. We have lost that money thanks to the government shutdown, right? It is now more expensive to have the government shut down than to have given that to Donald Trump, which is interesting, but nonetheless, no money for that wall. None. And we should not fund it whatsoever. But again, this is over $5.7 million, which would not have even paid for very much of the wall, maybe a small section. So these hardcore Trumpists are like, what are you doing? It's not even going to pay for the whole wall. We know Mexico's not going to pay for it. We're not dumb. We support what you want to do because we hate immigrants and we're scared, but it doesn't mean we're completely stupid. We know that what you're doing is not smart and it's not going to get you what we want. So stop doing it. Just admit defeat and we go and find another way to fund the wall. Trump's not having any of it. Now, the only people, by the way, who are urging him still to stand up to Pelosi are usually, are actually, for the most part, very wealthy conservative pundits, people like Ann Coulter. Now, Ann Coulter is a millionaire. Probably. Guess what she's not affected by? The government shutdown. Look, people like Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh, who, by the way, is also urging the shutdown over the wall, they don't care if government burns. They hate government. They love the fact that food stamps will run out of money soon. They love the fact that government workers are not getting paid because they despise government. There was even an anonymous Trump official that was quoted as saying, look, something along the lines of, and I'm going to, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, so I'm probably going to botch it. But, hey, man, look, this is a great way to shrink government, this whole shutdown. So I'm happy about this. No, okay, well, that's how you feel. That's how these wealthy conservatives feel because they don't care about government. They hate government. They see it as something that's in the way. But most regular people, conservatives included, are now starting to realize, oh, right, the government actually does things that are beneficial to me. Well, you shut it down, you're shutting down my food stamps. You shut it down, you're shutting down my job. I'm not getting paid even though I'm going into work. You know, there's a word for that. So, look, again, that's why this has hit Donald Trump's popularity so much. Now, going back to Ann Coulter, I want to give you this tweet here. She said, I couldn't care less about when Trump gives the State of the Union address. Just build a wall. Break ground down. How about no, you decrepit ghoul? Seriously. That's all she cares about is keeping brown people out of America. And again, she can't actually care about the people who are hurt by the shutdown because she doesn't understand them and, again, doesn't really give a crap about them. Anyway, another tweet here from Brian Goldsmith. He says, if Ann Coulter agrees, I assume Trump will reverse his decision. And finally, we've got Lindsey Graham. Now, Lindsey Graham, I love this, right? Lindsey Graham says, the State of the Union is a tradition which has been carried out during times of war and peace, turmoil, and tranquility. It is an important piece of our history and government. Speaker Pelosi's decision to ignore this long-standing American tradition is absurd, petty, and shameful. The judgment of history will not be kind. You know what? Lindsey Graham's actually right about one thing. History will not be kind to the people who have engineered this shutdown. But it will not be in the way that Lindsey Graham is thinking. Remember, he is part of the same party who, during one of Obama's State of the Union speeches, had somebody yell out, "You lie." So talk about absurd, petty, and shameful, right? So, hey, Lindsey, why don't you save me your crocodile tears, homeboy? Fact is, your deal-maker president just got owned by Nancy Pelosi. And that should make you feel pretty terrible. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.